Okay, now take two. How about that? How y'all doing today? It is Wednesday, people. It is Wednesday. It's the first hump day of 2018. We're headed into the first weekend of 2018. We only get 52 of them a year. So we need to take, make sure that we use them right. Enjoy them. So we just got to get through today, which you already did because you're going to see this late. Just got to get through Thursday, and we know what Friday's like. This has been a short week. It's just been great. You'll be right into the weekend. So, before we get started on the news, like there's anything to talk about, I wanted to get to a few things. One I missed from northern Minnesota was a card, a lovely card from Gary and Jane McLaughlin up in northern Minnesota, and they sent us I'm telling you, I got behind on a few things. A beautiful dream catcher ornament for the tree, and it didn't make it on this year's tree. I'm sorry. I was feeling ill, and the package got left off to the side, I think. But not only that, it was a... Shut up. You're going to be a turd on our society. And a cup towel that says, "Love you to Minnesota and back." And baby, when you live in South Texas, Minnesota and back, that's a long ass way, baby. And so that's a whole lot of love. And we appreciate that. And I'm sorry we missed that during the holidays.
I will be.
Shut up. No, you're going to be a pimple on a... I also got a card from Miss Marianne McLaughlin up in Royal Oak, Michigan. She sent a beautiful little Christmas card. Had a note in there. And we got that today. So thank you very much, Marianne. She said she's sorry it's late. No, dear, any kind of wish like that, it's not late. It's right there in our heart. And then today, I also got a card from Miss Wendy Spalding out in Lake Worth, Florida. And she sent a card. Have a furry Merry Christmas. And that's Wendy with Shadow and Michonne. That's I don't know which is which, but there's the two little puppies right there. And so I'm sure that Wendy had a very furry Merry Christmas. So I'm happy for that. And then today I also got a little box from Esther Ramirez. And Esther, I forgot that in just a minute. Wait a minute. From West Valley City. No. Yeah. West Valley City, Utah. Did you move? I think that's not right. Anyway, she sent a beautiful card, and because she makes these cards now, I told y'all before, and it has some beautiful sentiments from Esther and Alex, Darling the parrot, and Tico Tizak, the Mexican hairless dog, which she has, and he's a sight to see, I'm telling you. But I love that parrot. Darling is a beautiful parrot. She also sent a beautiful Tree of Life Christmas ornament, and it is beautiful, and it's elegant. And she also sent a little grateful for you, you give my heart wings, and it's a little medallion, and it's engraved. It's got a little set of wings there, and I'm thinking of you, Esther. You always send me neat little stuff, and I really appreciate that kind of stuff. It just warms us up, and we enjoy getting it. And so thank you all very much for the gifts and the cards. We love getting them, and it just, who wouldn't? It just makes us feel so good. We have a beautiful Blue Dot family, and we are so proud of them. And that's what's going on in the news, John. Well, shit. Before we get to what I really want to talk about, which is just bubbling out of me, I want to point out a little article. You know how they have the year in review. We can look back at 2017 and know all we need to know about 2017. I noticed a little article there that said President Donnie Dick has lied 1,950 times in 2017. That's the man that sits in our house. 1,009, almost 2,000 lies, outright provable lies that have come out of that man's mouth, that sits in our house, that holds the banner of our country. He's a lying, stinking thief, and he sits in our house. That's embarrassing. Anyway, the newest one he just said the other day, in the New York Times interview. They said in that Times interview that he lied approximately every 75 seconds in that interview. And like I said, these are not like little ones. These are just outright lies that you can go and fact check. And yet he does it consistently. He's a habitual liar. And he gets joy out of watching everybody out here dig into his crap when he knows it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's that old saying, if you cannot dazzle them with brilliance, then baffle them with bullshit. And that's what he uses on his minions, on his base. You can just baffle them with bullshit and they don't know any better. Because they don't want to know any better. They're ate up with Donnie. That 34% of this country is ate up with glorious golden Donnie. And there's barely anything you can do to change their mind. But 34% will not get you elected again, buddy. You won't make it anyway. Your ass is going to jail, and we know why. Anyway, another one of his big freaking lies here lately, I have that big freaking lie, is he said this. This is a quote from Donnie the Dick. Virtually every Democrat has said the Trump campaign did not collude, but tremendous collusion between the Democrats and the Russians. He said that. He said, I ain't seen a single Democrat walking around saying crap like that, have you? I don't think so. He's a lying dick and he tries to tell his minions shit like that. But they'll believe him. Well, you know, all the Democrats are saying it. No, they're not. Idiots. 62% think Trump is a dishonest man. That's going lightly on him. Do you think he is a liar? 62% of this country thinks he's a liar. Oh, how about that? 34% believe he's telling the truth. Oh, isn't that his approval rating? 34% and 34% believe he's tells you a story there. Tells you. That's his stupid base down there. That's the only people that believe him. The ones that want to hang on to Donnie and the golden arches of his feet. I don't know what the hell shit. Anyway, Donnie put out a tweet. Everybody saw it, that Donnie's bragging about our button, his button, being bigger and better. And it works. He's trying to piss off little Kim Jong-un over there and get him all agitated by telling him we have a bigger, better button. First of all, Donnie, maybe we shouldn't tell him this. If there's a button on your desk, Donnie, it came from Toys R Us to make you think that you're in control. No, the nuclear launch codes are not a little button on anybody's desk. They're not on Donnie's desk. They're not on Kim Jong-un's desk. Nobody's sitting there with that finger like that. But again, it's just one of those little things. Oh, you know, he's got the finger on the button. No, thank goodness we have responsible military leaders that know an asshole when he gives an illegal order. So I'm not too worried about him accidentally hitting a button. I'm more worried about his stupid tweets and what they'll do to the Korean Peninsula. Everybody's screaming about the nuclear war thing. Just a conventional war there would be bad enough. But Donnie doesn't give a shit. Thank goodness the North and the South are starting to patch things up there a little bit because they're scared of the idiot in Washington. So there's a hotline opened up between the two countries for the first time in years. And North Korea is open to talks with South Korea. No, they're not open to talks with Donnie because Donnie's just waving his pecker around, if he could find it. Eric Trump hasn't been in the news for a long time. Eric Trump has been hiding his ass off because we ain't seen him, so what's up with him? Well, he looked at his Twitter feed. He looked down at his Twitter phone, I guess, and he saw, you know how Twitter does, they'll have suggestions for who you ought to follow. And the recommendations were Obama, Hillary, and Ellen DeGeneres. So he tweeted out that that's the proof of the deep state. Really? Ellen DeGeneres is part of the deep state, Eric? Are you shitting? The reason they recommended is those are popular people. Not like your daddy, Your daddy wasn't on that list of who to follow. No, he's an asshole. Nobody wants to follow your dad. I follow him only so I can tweet back to him all the disgusting crap that he does, and I call him a liar all the time. He ain't blocked me yet. I'm still going, baby. But he's concerned that Ellen DeGeneres is part of the deep state. Yeah, what are you doing? Talking to Donnie Jr.? Oh, speaking of Donnie Jr., Steve Bannon. Oh, we're talking about him. Steve Bannon said Mueller will crack Don Jr. like an egg. I believe that too, baby. I think he's going to crack him up and scramble his ass and throw him in the frying pan. I'm going to get a big kick out of it. That's everything on that page because I had too much to go up on my board today. So we'll flip the page. And it says, oh, I went the wrong way. Wait a minute. Because I want to get into, okay. There we go. All I do is turn it over. Steve Bannon. We're just talking about Steve Bannon. Why? Because Steve Bannon got a book coming out. And in Steve's book, Steve says that the meeting, amongst other things in the book, he says that the meeting with the Russians in Trump Tower was treasonous, unpatriotic, and bad shit. And he said it's all of that, and that the first thing Donnie should have done, Donnie Jr., was call the FBI, because that's what a patriot would do. That's what a real American would do. They'd call the FBI and say the Russians are trying to stir up some shit, but Donnie Jr. didn't do that. No, Jared Kushner did not do that. The rest of them in that meeting did not do that. They held their little disgusting, treasonous, unpatriotic meeting. That's what Steve Bannon says. And I believe Steve. I believe Steve. What else does Steve have to say? He said plenty. Well, I want to make this one more comment since we're talking about what he said. Steve Bannon, in his book, wrote this. The chance that Don Jr. did not walk those Johas up to his father's office on the 26th floor is 0. So Steve is saying that did Don Jr. and Paul Jarrett march them Russians up to the 26th floor to Donald Trump's office to meet with him? Steve Bannon says there's a 0% chance that that did not happen. So yeah, Steve is saying that they took that meeting upstairs to Donnie. So what now, Donnie? You know I don't collude with Russia. Ah, you're lying, dick. You lie all the time. Donnie, 1,950 lies so far. So Steve fired a broadside to him. Well, Donnie come back. And you know what? We come to find out Steve Bannon was a coffee boy. That's right, people. Steve Bannon wasn't some big player in the campaign, in the election, in the presidency. No, he was a coffee boy. Because here's what Donnie the Dick, a.k.a. Mr. Tiny Hands, Steve Bannon has nothing to do with me or my presidency. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind. Throw him under the bus there, Donnie. You don't give a shit who it is. Throw him under the bus. Can't wait to see you do that to Ivanka and Jarrett and Donnie Jr. Gonna throw them all under the bus. You wait and see. He goes on, Steve was a staffer who worked for me after I already won nomination by defeating 17 candidates. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. Often described as the most talented field ever assembled in the Republican Party. He beat 17 of the finest that the Republican Party had to offer. The only one I see that was worth a shit on that side was old Kasich from Ohio, I think he's from. He was the only reasonable mind up on that stage. The rest of them were falling all over themselves. Anyway, Donnie thanks Steve for his service in defeating Hillary. That was a story that was amongst this article. So remember when Donnie won the election and all that, he went, oh, Steve Bannon was always great. No, Steve was a coffee boy. Are you shitting me? Donnie went on to say that now that he is on his own, Steve is learning that winning isn't as easy as I make it look. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? You're a biggest loser. I don't know how the hell you got there. You've lost everything in business except Trump Tower and then selling your name and doing money laundering for the Russians. That's the only reason you got your name out there anyway, son. You ain't no... Jesus Christ. You lost. You went bankrupt every time. How is that Trump Steaks doing? Trump University? Anybody graduate yet there, Donnie the Dick? He's an asshole, people. I'm sorry. Steve had very little to do with our historic victory, which was delivered by the forgotten men and women of this country. I'm beginning to think that Donnie believes that those forgotten ones were the white supremacists and neo-Nazis that didn't vote before, that came out of the woodwork to vote for their hero. Maybe that's them. Is that your forgotten people because you've forgotten everybody else in your tax plan, asshole? Didn't think about him then. And he goes on, people. Yet Steve has everything to do with the loss of a Senate seat in Alabama. Wait a minute. Didn't Steve Bannon's guy win and Donnie's lose down there? Yeah, that's what happened. As a matter of fact, as I remember, Roy Moore, he lost when Donnie started getting behind him. That's what happened. Hell, maybe he would have won if Donnie wouldn't have jumped in there. Bannon was winning with his guy until Donnie jumped in. The loser. And that's what he made him. The Senate that Alabama had held that seat for 30 years by Republicans. Doesn't that tell you something, Donnie? Steve doesn't represent my base. He was only in it for himself. Donnie will throw anybody under the bus. As soon as they turn against him, as soon as they say something against him, as soon as they don't bow down and kiss Donnie's ring or his ass, then Donnie goes after him full bore. Throws him, calls him every name in the book. Coffee boy for old Papadopoulos, and now Steve Bannon, who we all saw on the campaign trail. He's from Breitbart. He helped him get elected. Big time. With all the cockroaches that came out. So yeah, Steve Bannon had a lot to do with it. Now we have an idiot, a traitor, a liar, an immoral asshole who's out to thieve this country for all he can get. Every golf course, every bribe collection center he's spending as much time as he can there before he gets his ass thrown out. I would prefer to see him tarred and feathered and put on a train out of Washington, D.C. You know, Donnie, like they used to do in the good old days. That's what we need to do with his stupid ass. We have much to do, and every day he points out why we have to do it. And we have to do it this year. Mueller, you know he's coming. You know there's already little leaks coming out about information about the next indictments coming up on this shit. So no, it's not over. And Donnie can say there's no collusion all he wants. There's collusion, I believe, and a lot of money laundering, Donnie. And that's what they go to prison for, asshole. You, your daughter, your sons, your son-in-law, whoever else helped you do all that shit, Donnie. I believe there'll be a long list going to prison over your ass. I don't think you're worth it. That's about all I got, people. I don't want to yell too much. I got a comment about lady didn't want to listen to me because I was yelling too much. I'm sorry if I do. This is a passionate thing I do. There's no cuts in this. I do it from start to finish. And I speak what's on my mind and what's in my heart. Sometimes I make a mistake, like saying yesterday I was calling for Wisconsin with Al Franken, but it's Minnesota. And now I remember that shit. So when I make a mistake, I like to correct it. But I ain't perfect. I just think what I think. And I smell a rat, and he's scurrying around our White House every day, and I want him to get in a big rat trap and smack it. So Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. John Bridevo of Blue Dot in Texas. Let your blue light shine, baby. Let everybody know who you are. It's important because we need to be proud of our side. John Bridevo on Facebook. John Bridevo Speaks, my fan page. Don and Candy are doing a hell of a job out there. A lot of activity on that site, so I'm real proud of that, y'all. This is a family. We need to talk about things, everything we need to talk about. On Twitter, at Blue Dot in Texas, and anywhere else we can get this message out, we need to just keep spreading it. That the Democrats need to be proud. We have a blue wave coming up, baby, and we can swallow this country, and we can take it back in a landslide. I don't want a margin. I want a majority, if not all of it. So, I got some high wishes, so let's make them happen. And stay busy, stay informed, and get behind the candidate, and we can get this done while every day we'll go through the list of stupid shit that comes out of Donnie's mouth. And it's like a soap opera as the White House turns or whatever. Anyway, I hope I got everything. Y'all have a good day. Talk to each other down in the comments. Always makes me happy to see that. And get ready for the weekend, baby, because it's coming. We'll see y'all later. Bye.